Respect is not something you demand. It is not something you beg for. It is something you earn through your actions, your mindset, and your presence. Stoic philosophy teaches that the way others treat you is often a direct reflection of how you treat yourself. If you don't respect yourself, if you allow yourself to be walked over, if you constantly seek validation from others, then don't be surprised when you're met with indifference, or worse, disrespect. Women, in particular, can sense weakness, not physical weakness, but weakness of character, weakness of conviction, weakness of self-respect. If you want women to respect you, then you must first become a man who respects himself. That means cutting out the behaviors that undermine you, eliminating the habits that make you appear weak, and replacing them with the principles of a man who stands tall, unshaken by the opinions of others. So if you want respect, stop doing these things immediately. Stop seeking approval. A stoic man needs no validation. One of the most destructive habits a man can have is the constant need for approval. You see it everywhere. Men who change their opinions based on who they're with, who apologize unnecessarily, who look at others for permission before they speak or act. This is a sign of deep insecurity. The Stoics understood that seeking validation from others is a form of self-imprisonment. When you need external approval to feel good about yourself, you become a slave to the opinions of others. Your confidence is no longer yours. It's at the mercy of whoever happens to be in the room. A man who constantly looks for reassurance, who tries too hard to be liked, who bends over backward to be accepted, is signaling to the world that he does not believe he is enough on his own. And when a woman senses that in a man, she cannot respect him, women respect confidence, not arrogance, not aggression, but the quiet certainty of a man who knows his own worth and does not need others to validate it. A stoic man does not walk into a room thinking, "I hope they like me." He walks in thinking, "Do I like them?" He evaluates people, not the other way around. And the paradox is this: the moment you stop seeking approval, people naturally start respecting you more, because they can see that you are not desperate for their attention, that you are not willing to compromise who you are just to be accepted. That kind of confidence is magnetic. Stop over-explaining yourself. A strong man speaks less. There's a simple truth that most men overlook. The more you talk, the weaker you appear. When a man constantly explains himself, justifies his actions, and tries to prove why he's right, what he's really communicating is self-doubt. He's trying to convince others because deep down, he hasn't fully convinced himself. A stoic man doesn't do this. He knows that his actions speak louder than any words ever could. He doesn't need to justify himself to people who don't deserve an explanation. He doesn't argue over trivial things. He doesn't waste energy trying to prove his worth, because his worth is already evident in how he carries himself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is a lesson that most men never learn. They spend their lives talking about what they're going to do instead of just doing it. If you want women to respect you, understand this: mystery is power. When you speak less, when you don't feel the need to justify every little thing, when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, people naturally become more curious about you. They lean in, they want to know more. But when you over-explain, when you try too hard, you remove all intrigue. Respect comes from presence, from certainty, from a man who doesn't need to prove himself, because his actions already do that for him. Stop being emotionally unstable. Control your reactions. A man who cannot control his emotions is a man who cannot control his life. If you react impulsively to every little thing, if you get angry easily, if you allow your mood to be dictated by others, if you let criticism shake you, then you are not in control. You are being controlled. The Stoics believed that true power comes from mastering yourself first. You cannot expect others to respect you if you do not have authority over your own mind and emotions. Imagine two men. One is easily rattled. If someone insults him, he gets defensive. If things don't go his way, he complains. If a woman tests him, he becomes needy or angry. He is like a ship in a storm, completely at the mercy of outside forces. The other man remains composed no matter what happens. If someone insults him, he smirks and moves on. If he faces a setback, he sees it as a challenge to overcome. If a woman tries to push his buttons, he remains calm, unbothered, confident. Which man do you think earns more respect? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The key to commanding respect, especially from women, is to show that nothing can shake you. Because the moment a woman sees that you can be easily controlled, she will never respect you. Stop being too available. Respect comes from scarcity. Most men make the mistake of thinking that the more available they are, the more they will be liked. They text immediately. They say yes to every invitation. They adjust their schedule to fit someone else's. They make themselves too easy to access. But Stoicism teaches a different lesson. What is rare is valuable. What is too available is taken for granted. A man who respects himself values his time. He doesn't give it away to just anyone. He is selective. He prioritizes his purpose over seeking attention. And because of that, people, especially women, respect him more. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." If you spend all your time chasing others, proving yourself, giving your energy away freely, you are wasting your most valuable resource. If you want women to respect you, stop making yourself so accessible. Let them wonder where you are. Let them earn your time. A man who is too available is forgettable. A man who is focused on his own life, his own mission, his own growth, is someone who is always in demand. Stop giving too many second chances. Value yourself more. A man who is constantly forgiving mistreatment, disrespect, and disloyalty is a man who does not value himself. Forgiveness is important, but boundaries are even more important. The Stoics understood that a man's time, energy, and presence are sacred. You are not obligated to tolerate disrespect. If someone repeatedly shows you that they do not value you, whether it's a woman, a friend, or a colleague, then it's your responsibility to walk away. Epictetus once said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you keep making excuses for someone's bad behavior, you are telling them, "I don't respect myself enough to set boundaries." And if you don't respect yourself, why should they? Stop chasing. Respect comes to those who stand still. The more you chase something, the more it runs away. This applies to success, to respect, and especially to women. When a man pursues too aggressively, he lowers his own value. The Stoics were masters of detachment, understanding that wanting something too much often makes you lose it. They taught that the best way to gain power is to be indifferent to the outcome. A woman respects a man who is comfortable with or without her. A man who has options. A man who knows that if one person leaves, He will still be completely fine because his life is already full and meaningful. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, do not tie your happiness to things outside your control. The moment you stop chasing respect, it will start chasing you. Stop seeking comfort, embrace challenge. Weak men avoid discomfort. They look for the easiest path. They avoid conflict, avoid difficult conversations, avoid putting themselves in situations where they might fail. But growth and respect only come through struggle. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. If you want to be a man that commands respect, you must actively seek challenges, not avoid them. Push your body past its limits in training. Speak up when you'd rather stay silent. Take risks when fear tells you to back down. Respect is not given to men who avoid hardship. It is given to those who conquer it. Stop living without a code. Principles make the man. What do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? A man without a personal code is like a leaf in the wind. He bends to whatever pressures come his way. Women do not respect men who lack a backbone. They admire men who stand for something, who refuse to compromise on their values, who are solid in their beliefs. The Stoics lived by a strict code of virtue. Wisdom, making decisions based on reason, not impulse. Courage, doing what is right, even when it's difficult. Discipline, controlling desires instead of being controlled by them. Justice, treating others fairly and standing up for what is right. A man with a clear code is unshakable, and that is a man who earns deep, undeniable respect. Stop caring about what everyone thinks. A man who is obsessed with the opinions of others will always be weak. He will hesitate. He will self-censor. He will betray himself just to avoid criticism. But the truth is, people will judge you no matter what you do. You can play it safe, follow the crowd, try to be agreeable, and still, there will be those who criticize you. So why waste your energy caring? Marcus Aurelius had a rule for this. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. If you are too focused on how others perceive you, you will never fully live. A man who walks his own path, unbothered by approval or disapproval, is a man who commands respect without even trying. Stop giving too many second chances. Value yourself more. One of the biggest mistakes weak men make is tolerating mistreatment over and over again. They get disrespected, but instead of walking away, they forgive. They get lied to, but instead of setting boundaries, they make excuses. Why? Because deep down, they believe that if they set firm boundaries, they will lose people. And they would rather be surrounded by toxic people than be alone. But a Stoic man does not think this way. He understands that not everyone deserves access to him. A woman will never respect a man who allows himself to be mistreated. If she tests you by crossing a boundary and you just let it slide, you're telling her, I don't take myself seriously, so you don't have to either. Respect is earned when you show that you are willing to walk away from anyone who does not value you. And it's not just about women, it's about everything in life. If you allow people to waste your time, if you let others take advantage of your kindness, if you keep giving second chances to people who have proven they don't deserve them, you are broadcasting a message. I don't respect myself enough to demand better. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, once wrote, associate only with those who will make a better man of you. If someone is not adding value to your life, they are taking value from it. A strong man does not beg for respect. He commands it by being willing to cut off anyone who does not treat him with the dignity he deserves. Stop chasing. Respect comes to those who stand still. There's a reason why a man who chases, whether it's chasing women, chasing friendships, or even chasing success, always seems to push those things further away. The moment you try too hard to grasp something, it slips through your fingers. Why? Because neediness repels respect. A woman does not respect a man who needs her more than she needs him. She respects a man who is focused on his own mission, his own growth, his own purpose. A man who is content whether she is there or not. The great Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not tie your happiness to things outside your control." The moment you attach your sense of worth to another person's approval, you lose your power. A man who is at peace with himself, who does not chase validation, who is too busy living his life to worry about impressing others, that man will always be respected. So stop chasing. Stop trying too hard. Stop looking for external validation. Focus on your own self-improvement, your own path, your own ambitions. And ironically, when you stop seeking respect, that's when you will start receiving it. Stop seeking comfort, embrace challenge. Most men live their entire lives trying to make things easier. They seek comfort. They avoid conflict. They stay in their little bubble where nothing challenges them. But here's the hard truth. Comfort is the enemy of respect. Why? Because a man who never struggles, never challenges himself, never pushes past his limits will always be weak. And weakness does not command respect. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body." A man who is respected is a man who has been through hardship and come out stronger. He has faced failure, rejection, adversity, and instead of running from it, he has embraced it. Think about the most respected men in history. Did they live easy lives? No. They were tested. They suffered. They endured. And because of that, they became unshakable. If you want to be a man that women and the world respect, you must actively seek discomfort. Train your body hard. Take risks. Confront difficult situations instead of avoiding them. Make struggle your ally, not your enemy. Because when a man has been through fire and emerged stronger, there is nothing left in the world that can break him. Stop living without a code. Principles make the man. What do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? Do you have a personal code that you live by? Or do you just drift through life, following whatever feels easy in the moment? Women do not respect men who are inconsistent, who compromise their values just to please others. They respect men who have an unshakable foundation, a set of principles that they refuse to break. The Stoics believed that a man should live by 4 core virtues. Wisdom, making decisions based on reason, not impulse. Courage, standing firm in your beliefs, even when it's difficult. Discipline, mastering your desires instead of letting them control you. Justice, doing what is right, even when no one is watching. A man who follows these principles cannot be manipulated, cannot be disrespected, cannot be swayed by external pressure. If you don't have a personal code, it's time to create one. Decide what kind of man you want to be, and then commit to it, no matter what. Because when you live by a code, you become someone that people, especially women, instinctively respect. Stop caring about what everyone thinks. One of the greatest weaknesses a man can have is being too concerned with the opinions of others. A weak man changes his actions based on what people think of him. He censors himself to avoid judgment. He lives his life trying to be liked. But a strong man does not care about being liked. He cares about being respected. Marcus Aurelius put it best. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. When you waste your life worrying about what others think, you are not living for yourself. You are living for them. And here's the ironic part. The moment you stop caring about approval, people will naturally respect you more, because they can see that you are not controlled by their opinions. If you want women to respect you, start living for yourself. Speak your mind. Stand firm in your beliefs. Stop being afraid of judgment, because the man who walks his own path, unshaken by the opinions of others, will always be a man who commands respect. Final thoughts, the Stoic way to earn respect. A man's worth is not in how much he is liked, but in how much he is respected. And that respect starts from within. If you want women to respect you, you must first become the kind of man who commands respect naturally. That means not seeking approval, but validating yourself. Not talking too much, but letting your actions speak. Not being emotionally reactive, but mastering self-control. Not being too available, but valuing your own time. Once you embody these principles, respect is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you attract effortlessly. And that, my friend, is how you win.